All right, to get started, what we have here is we have a reflector, which is a 5-in-1 reflector, which has been taken out in order to show the white side. We have a large fluorescent light and a second fluorescent light just to add a little bit more light to it, because the point of one of these shoots is to have lots and lots of white, so that way it really makes that color pop in the dye. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We got all our settings, all our cameras set up. We're ready for the dye. So if I could have my assistant go over to the water and yes, and on my mark you'll drop one droplet in there, and then I'm going to start spamming the shutter button, and then I'm going to need her to drop a couple more after that. Now before you even tip that over, you got to make sure your hand doesn't show up in it. So you're good there. No, you're fine. Just get where it needs to be comfortable, and I'll let you know if it's in there. Okay, it is not in there. So we want to make sure that when we go to do this, we only really have one opportunity to do this. Otherwise, we have to restart everything. So we want to do manual focus, so that way we don't have any troubles with the focusing motor inside the lens during the shoot. And right when you say go, you got to start holding down that shutter button even before the first drop goes down. So 3, 2, 1, go ahead and drop that. Now go ahead and drop 2 more. There we go. And then if you drop 1 more over to the side, a little bit more. Yeah, you got to get your hand out of the picture. A little bit more. There you go. Perfect. Boom, and that's all it is. Now in order to restart this, because let's say we wanted to do video, because this looks pretty freaking awesome. All we have to do is clean out the cup and get it going again. And
can I put more in?
Yeah, if you want it. Get the cup or clean out the cup and dry it off. Make sure there's no speckles or anything, because that will reflect off there. Okay, that's good. And just hold down that shutter button, so it's almost like a movie when you are done. Alright, so for this setup we're doing the same exact thing. We have the cup, it's been cleaned, it's got the water in it, and we again are using the 5-in-1 disc reflector as our white backdrop. We're using a light behind it to really make sure that white is very, very bright, and we're trying to overexpose as much as possible because we want to make sure the cup doesn't really show up too much in the photo. We're going to shoot this in video mode, so we're going to do it at 60 frames a second because we want the opportunity to do slow motion with this. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and drop that blue dye right in there, being very conscious of not shaking the table, not stepping on the ground or anything that's going to make the tripod move, and we're going to make sure we don't get our hand into the video. So we're going to go ahead and drop that, starting with 1 drop, let it sink for a second, and do a couple more for a little additional effect. So go ahead and drop that in there. So then,
sorry, I ruined it.
It's okay. Go ahead and drop some more in there. So now this we can use for an overlay. We can put it into more videos. Keep dropping more if you would like. And it's looking pretty awesome. And, you know, you really can go as far as you want with this, as far as how much blue you want to add. You could even play around with exposure settings, because currently there's a lot more blue we're seeing in person than what we're seeing in camera. But again, if you want to use this as overlays, or you want to show as little as the cup as possible, then you do have to kind of go over on the settings. Just to kind of show you, we'll go ahead and change this. That is much closer to how it looks in person. But again, do you see the cup? You see a lot more than you want to in something like this, but it might be the look you're going for. So definitely keep that in mind. And all I did was switch the aperture to f8. If I was going to change any more settings, I'd probably actually bring it down to like 5.6 and drop the ISO. But that's how you do it. It's very easy. White background, lots of light, and drop some dye in there. And you can use that for several things. You can use it for photos, you can use it for video, you can use it for overlays, special effects, anything you want. And it only takes a few minutes to set up for. So I hope that was useful for you. This has been Curtis Crowe, the Photo Pro, and as I always do, toodles. Second thing is very important, and I feel like it's something that people kind of graze over, and that's itemize your gear. Find out how much every single piece of gear you have costs. Nice front element. I don't know if you can see that. How beautiful that is. Let's open up the other side so you can see all the way. Jeans, if we wanted to see how much that's changed in the before and after shot.